Today is Friday, March 26th. Welcome to this edition of Nevada County Now. Today's episode we're talking tier change, cancer support, senior center, and more. This episode is brought to you in part by Stifel Financial, and also the generous donations of viewers like you. Thank you. Hello and welcome to Nevada County Now. I'm your host, Cole Pettit. We've seen an increase of just 43 COVID-19 cases since last week, bringing our total to 4,203 confirmed cases. 84 cases are currently active with 8 hospitalizations, and the death toll remains at 74. According to the state's data, our adjusted case rate dropped to 8.0, and our test positivity rate is at 3.7%, which once again met the standard for the red tier, and as of Wednesday, we are moved into the state's red tier. In the red tier, business sectors such as restaurants, gyms, and movie theaters will be able to have reduced capacity indoors. Restaurants are allowed 25% capacity or 100 people indoors, whichever is fewer. Gyms can operate at 10% capacity indoors. Movie theaters at 25% capacity or 100 people indoors, whichever is fewer. And retail can move to 50% capacity indoors. Once again on Wednesday, Nevada County Public Health hosted another media Q&A where Director of Health and Human Services Ryan Groover and Public Health Officer Dr. Scott Kellerman gave us some additional information. Let's take a brief look.
Yeah, we're in the red tier. I hope you know about that, which opens up some opportunities for restaurants and Del Oro, 25%, and that's huge. I mean, I think some businesses, I don't know what margin they need, but I think it's closer to 50%. So I'd encourage, continued non-pharmaceutical interventions and immunizations. I think both of those have contributed us moving into the red tier. And I think it's been a community effort. Obviously, there's some outliers.
I mean, I think the headline to me this week, again, as Dr. Kellerman said, is moving into the red tier. That's long overdue and will be welcome relief to our business community after, I believe, 17 weeks in the purple tier, which was pretty brutal. We're only making it into the red tier because of the adjustments the state made to the framework based on the vaccinations to the underserved communities in the Healthy Places Index. The threshold would have been 7 prior to that, and with the threshold having been reached, that was moved up to 10, and so we were able to advance. And then the next thing to keep your eyes out for is once they get to 4 million doses in the Healthy Places Index, they make another adjustment where they move the criteria at the lower tiers. And so presuming that happens in the next week to week and a half or thereabouts, the next threshold we would be looking at to advance to orange would be the positivity rate of, not the positivity rate, the case rate of 6 rather than what it currently is, which is 4.
Overall, one of the most oft-cited concerns with the vaccine is the lack of data over a long period of time. While normal vaccine trials usually run for years before getting approval, the FDA required just 2 months worth of follow-up data before authorizing the COVID-19 vaccines for emergency use. In your opinion, does today's pandemic warrant the foregoing of normal protocols for a long-term study? Why or why not?
The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is based on adenovirus, DNA platform. It's introduced, and then it goes in some of your cells called the ribosomes, and it makes the messenger RNA. So it's kind of a step ahead of the messenger RNA of Pfizer and Moderna. But the country I was talking to was Uganda, right next to the Congo, and where Ebola. It's been around for a while. The thing that stopped Ebola was an adenovirus-based vaccine, similar to the Johnson & Johnson, produced by Johnson & Johnson. It's been around for several years. All we can say is for that vaccine, there doesn't seem to be any long-term sequelae.
As soon as vaccines are available to all, what percentage of the population must get it for things to return to normal?
Yeah, I mean, herd immunity, you got to have over 85% with measles, flu about 70%. So it's probably sitting somewhere between 70 to 85%. We're not sure exactly what the number is, but I mean, if we had 70% in this county, celebration time. Yeah, it's pretty tough. There's going to be a heavy lift along the way because there tends to be a fair amount of vaccine resistance in this county. And so I'm hoping that somehow, through you all, through the media, we can hopefully get out the word and change hearts and minds. That's what you're supposed to be doing in media, right? Changing hearts and minds.
Just today, if you go out to the state's dashboard, we passed the 40,000 mark in terms of shots in arms for Nevada County residents. 40,000 is the number of flu vaccines that are typically administered in Nevada County through the entire year, through the entire healthcare system. And so in 3 months using, or 3.5 months using basically 10 providers, we've already done what is typically done in a whole year of flu vaccines. So I think we need to acknowledge the work that the healthcare system our providers and our team has done.
I mean, we're here to promote health in this community in any way we can. I get it, it's controversial, but it shouldn't be. I mean, the science backs it up. And I think one of the things you will hear, and hopefully you'll hear from Ryan also, if we're wrong, we'll admit it. And that's what we do. If we get different data, then we'll admit it and say, stubbed our toe, but we'll go on. So if you ask questions, we'll be as honest as possible for this day and time.
Remember, new COVID-19 vaccination appointments for the Whispering Pines Clinic in Grass Valley become available for scheduling Fridays at 12 p.m. on myturn.ca.gov. Nevada County will continue to post new appointment availability for the Whispering Pines Clinic at 12 p.m. on Fridays for now. Starting April 1st, everyone 50 plus is eligible for a vaccine, and then on April 15th, everybody 16 plus is eligible. And remember to stay up to date with the latest on the COVID vaccine. You can sign up for text alerts by texting vaccine info to 898-211. You can call 211 to speak to a call specialist. Visit mynevadacounty.com/coronavirus/vaccine or sign up with MyTurn by visiting myturn.ca.gov. Our local hospital, Sierra Nevada Memorial, continues to be a vital resource to our community, pandemic or not. Whether it's providing emergency services, vaccine clinics like the one they held today, or support programs. Today we're joined once again by Kimberly Parker, Executive Director of the Sierra Nevada Memorial Hospital Foundation, to tell us more about the hospital's cancer programs, both in terms of treatment and support services.
Welcome, everyone. I'm so thrilled to be with you again, and today I thought I'd share a little bit about the support programs available at Sierra Nevada Memorial Hospital's Cancer Center. You may or may not know we have a pretty incredible community cancer center that was nationally accredited since it's opened in 1994, and a couple years ago, in 2018, was a leader in helping to form the Greater Sacramento Cancer Institute. And this is a way for all the cancer centers to keep in touch about best practices, the best kind of care, those kinds of things. We are thrilled to have in our cancer center 3 wonderful physicians, Dr. David Campbell, Dr. Jamie Hung, and Dr. Clayton Hess, that lead the program at Sierra Nevada. But today I wanted to focus a little bit on the support programs that are available. So wanted to let you know that, our cancer center has always had a philosophy of not just treating the disease, but treating the whole person. And to that end, there are free support programs available to you. And some of the traditional support classes are things like there's a support group for ovarian cancer, there's a support group for prostate cancer, there's a woman-to-woman support group program. There's a program that deals specifically, it's called GATE, with those dealing with grief. And many of these support groups are available not only to cancer center patients, but also to the loved ones and caregivers of those patients. In addition, we have a care support group program that is pretty focused on caregiving and the needs of the caregiver. We also have a wonderful transformational support group that is all about kind of mind, body, and spirit. There is also a couple unusual cancer support programs. One which is a Writing to Heal program, and you don't have to be a writer to go into it, but maybe this will just inspire you to put some things down on paper. And then we also have an incredible HARP program. Yes, you heard right. I said HARP program, led by Lisa Stein. And this is for those that find passion and love of music. One of my favorite stories ever is a cancer patient, and his wife was trying very hard to get him into a support group, and he was like, no, that's not my thing. And she finally got him to try the HARP program, even though he was not a musical person. And he went through the program, and when he got home and done with the program after, I think it was 12 weeks, he built his own harp. So I just love that story, but it just shows you that these support groups can be very important. If you want information about the support groups and when they meet, you can go to the Sierra Nevada Memorial Hospital Foundation website at supportsierranevada.org, or you can call our office, 530-477-9700, and we can email you a copy of the flyer. Or you can email me at info@dignityhealth.org. Thanks for being with me today. Stay healthy.
Thanks, Kimberly. In September 2020, Governor Gavin Newsom vetoed Senate Bill 68, which then made treated wood waste a hazardous material and not allowed into our landfills without specific permits and provisions. Locally, McCourtney Road Transfer Station immediately stopped accepting treated wood waste as per orders from the Department of Toxic Substance Control, or DTSC. This month, DTSC started issuing variances to accept and transport this material. Last Friday, Waste Management announced that McCourtney Road has received its variance and now accepts treated wood. For more details, we're joined by Sharon Simpson, Environment Protection Manager for Waste Management.
Currently, Waste Management of Nevada County is the contractor that helps manage solid waste and recycling and household hazardous waste for Nevada County. McCourtney Road Transfer Station is where the majority of the solid waste and recycling goes to. And that in the past included treated wood waste. In coming January 1st, we were affected just like every other facility in California. And so we were no longer allowed to accept treated wood waste because of its falling back into the hazardous waste requirements. Treated wood waste is any wood that is treated with a preservative, and that preservative is to prevent decay of that wood and to prevent fungal growth, which will cause decay of the wood. It's typically used in support beams for decking. It's used in gardens sometimes. It's used for a lot of different things throughout a house and throughout a business. Sometimes it can be difficult to recognize the treated wood. I think one of the biggest signs of the newer treated wood is that you typically have staple marks throughout the piece of wood, and that is a way. It's a newer way of the treatment companies for applying the fungicide to the treated wood. Once DTSC provided the variance, Waste Management of Nevada County applied for that variance. And as of Wednesday, McCourtney Road Transfer Station is now capable of taking that treated wood waste, and our hauling company is allowed to transport that as well. So we do have a variance in place and have that option for household customers now, as well as contractors. Households kind of have a little exemption, and they always have under the household hazardous waste regulations that allows households to transport 50 pounds or less of hazardous material without a shipping document. And that allows them to also transport treated wood waste as long as they have less than 50 pounds without a variance and without this special requirement and from DTSC. So the 50 pounds is only for household generated material. It's only for households who self-transport. So a contractor can't carry household material for them. It's only for those households that are self-transporting their waste. It has to be under 50 pounds, and it's a transportation requirement. So 50 pounds in their vehicle. They can bring us 50 pounds, deposit that, go back to their house and get another 50 pounds.
Okay.
As long as they only have 50 pounds in their vehicle at a time, they would be able to fall under that 50-pound requirement. McCourtney Road Transfer Station will continue to take the treated wood waste. There is a fee in place to do that at the transfer station, and because we have this approved variance, we will not turn them away. However, we are required by law to collect information from the generator and the transporter, and we are required to report that to DTSC. And so if they come without a variance, that will be reported to DTSC. What DTSC does with that information at this time is not totally known. I do believe that they will probably focus on the businesses that are required to have this variance and require them to go get this variance. But we will take the waste for the fees at the transfer station, but we are required to get this information, and the customer is required to provide this information in order for us to take this, so that we aren't in violation of our permit, our variance.
Thanks, Sharon. In the news recently, there have been many stories across the country documenting the disturbing rise in violence against Asian Americans. Sonora Slater decided to look into the issue and how our local community has responded.
Thanks, Cole. In recent weeks, there's been an increasing focus, especially by way of social media, on racial and gender stereotypes facing Asian American and Pacific Islander, or AAPI people, as well as the continuation of a complex conversation regarding violence toward these groups, and how the pandemic has aggravated the issue. This conversation is somewhat close to home, as according to World Population Review, California is the state with, by far, the highest Asian American population, although not the highest relative Asian American population percentage. In addition, several of the news stories that have come out recently regarding AAPI violence have focused on events in the Bay Area and San Francisco. Still, there's some distance between our small community and these larger, more spotlighted urban areas. So, what do conversations about the same issues look like on a smaller scale? How have Nevada County residents responded to the challenge of making every community member feel welcome? Color Me Human, a local organization whose mission statement includes eliminating harm inflicted on people of color in Nevada County, posted a public statement on March 17th by way of Instagram in response to recent gun violence that resulted in the death of several Asian American women, among other victims. As a racial justice organization, we condemn this violence in the strongest way possible, the statement reads. We stand in solidarity with our AAPI brothers and sisters as we work toward a more just and inclusive society. Another Instagram account titled Nevada County Against Hate began only a few weeks ago. The owner of the account explained that the account was started by a group of students at Nevada Union High School, but that they have decided to remain anonymous. The biggest goal is to open discussion on what's happening in our country and in our county, they shared in the caption of a recent post. Share your own experiences to inspire others to speak up about theirs. They mentioned that they think it's important for us to focus on our own town, making a difference where we can in being kind to and avoiding stereotypes about people we're interacting with. The main focus of our page is to provide support for each other and make everyone feel heard, they said. This focus on the individual is uniquely important when distilling national conflict down to the local level. It can be easy to fall into abstractions about a group of people and form opinions about individuals before you get to know them, based on disconnected information about one or more of the social groups they belong to. If we can remind ourselves that national news stories and the people profiled within are neither a complete picture of those people's lives, nor a template that we can simply transfer to assume the beliefs and values of people in our own lives, we can build a community that questions stereotypes, before playing into their overly simplistic conclusions. Back to you, Cole.
Thanks, Sonora. Several months ago, Gold Country Senior Services announced the acquisition of a new building at 231 Colfax Avenue in Grass Valley, formerly the location of Summertime's Bakery, with the plan of turning it into a senior center. I caught up with Janet Marilotti, Executive Director of Gold Country Senior Services, to find out about their progress so far and what the community can do to help.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cole, for having me.
Absolutely. So, it's been a while since we've gotten together, and the last time we did that, you just kind of made the announcement about getting your new building, the old Summertime's building over there by the bowling alley. Can you tell us a little bit about how that's going and where you are in the process of moving into there?
Great. So, yeah, we had closed escrow. It sounds like it was so long ago because so much has happened and we're still in this COVID-19 state that we didn't think we would be after a year. So we literally closed escrow, and the week after, the building became a facility as a testing site for COVID. So it really proved what we had been advocating, that the senior center is not just going to serve the seniors in our community, but it's going to serve everybody. So it's been a testing site now for quite a few months, I think since December. So we have been working to figure out how do we create this vision for the senior center, right? It's been 10 years since Nevada County has a senior center. It was the last senior center was at the fairgrounds. So now moving forward, 10 years later, we have a vision of the senior center that is going to be honoring aging. So what we came up with is that we're going to create a coffee shop for the senior center where the community can come in and support the senior center with 100% of the proceeds going back into the senior center. So we hope that the community sees this coffee shop as an opportunity to not only support the senior center, but also, join in and take that ageism stigma that senior centers are really not a popular place. We want to make it hip and popular. So we are in the process of designing, well, what is that coffee shop going to look like, right? How do we even create this? Because it hasn't been done before. So we're innovating in that aspect. And another area that we want to honor in honoring aging is how do we bring together those 60 and older artists into the senior center and display their art for free so they can get some revenue, from the sales. So we are designing the senior center to have a whole section of art. And the requirement is you got to be over the age of 60 to display your art.
Gotcha. Okay. And one of the other things I had heard about was that you guys, you now have an intern on staff or an intern development going on. Can you tell me a little bit about what's going on with that and how you see the future looking for that?
So internships are, I really believe that interns, we were shaping the next generation that's going to take over, right? So I was really surprised coming to that community that we didn't have interns from Sacramento State, which is our closest university, in our community. So of course, being the person that I am, I had to ask a lot of questions. Well, why don't we have an intern? And it was just that we just never did. So I started the work with working with Sac State University to get our first intern. And Summer Dales is our first intern from gerontology. And we just got so lucky because her background is construction, electrical engineering, and she's switching careers. And she actually is the project manager developing all the senior communities of Eschaton for Northern California. Wow. So she is going to bring that expertise. What we most need right now is help with expertise from the community. Getting this project off the ground is going to take a lot of experts, people that understand construction, people that understand coffee shops. I only go to the coffee shops. I have never worked at a coffee shop. So expertise, I would say, is the number one need. And then it's going to be fundraising. how do we fundraise for this senior center so we can purchase the equipment that we need? The sooner we can purchase it, the sooner we can open.
Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like the community to know about?
I would say that it's very, I would give words of hope that I know we all been through a lot this past year. I think none of us believed that it was going to take this long. But I think out of this difficult challenge, I think the community agencies, county officials, I think we all have learned so much about each other and really what it takes to pivot in times of need to support one another and in turn supports the community.
Thanks, Janeth. If you'd like to help or find out more, visit their website, goldcountryservices.org, or email info@goldcountryservices.org. The finale of the Nevada County Reads and Writes event is this Saturday, March 27th, starting at 1 p.m. This year, the book selected was The Roundhouse by Louise Edrich, which focuses on justice for a crime that upends a Native American family in North Dakota. The finale will feature several speakers, including Shelley Covert, spokesperson for the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan Tribe and executive director for the California Heritage Indigenous Research Project, or CHIRP. Shelley will facilitate this finale event, which will also feature speakers Susan Schoen Herjau, president of the Morningstar Institute, a poet, writer, lecturer, and policy advocate who has helped Native peoples protect sacred places and recover more than 1 million acres of land, and Herman Fillmore, the acting cultural and language resources director for the Washoe Tribe of Nevada and California, as well as others. You can sign up for this virtual event by visiting the library's webpage. The deadline for our script to film competition is rapidly approaching for script submission. Through the Lens is our script to film competition, and it's an annual fundraiser which is open to all Nevada County residents. The deadline for script submissions is April 16th. Submitted scripts will be judged and approved to move forward. Then participants are assigned the challenging and rewarding task of self-producing their films over the summer. From those films, 10 will be selected to be showcased at a red carpet gala premiere screening. We'll leave you tonight with a look at some previous submissions. Remember, stay safe, take care of each other. We'll see you next week.